Oh, think twice. 'Cause it's another season trophy list for Declan Rice. Oh, think twice. 'Cause it's another season trophy list for Declan Rice. Just think about it. Hello and welcome to Dad's Agile Podcast. This is the original footballing podcast for dads by dads. As you can see, I'm joined by Callum and Rob Horton this week. How we doing, boys?
Yeah, I'm good. I like to think that we're joined every week, but yeah, thank you for stating that, Adam. Cheers, mate.
He's just feeling smug because he actually got the intro right this week.
Yeah.
I did. Callum has technical difficulties because he cannot hear the music I just played, but it was the Declan Rice Paradise song that I done earlier today.
It's very good.
Don't ever hear any of the music that you do.
To be fair, Cal, you didn't miss much because Adam is blessed with a few things.
Ignorance.
And singing.
No shame.
One of them.
I've got a beautiful voice.
Although he writes a tidy lyric. I'll give him that. He writes a tidy lyric. It's just a shame he hasn't got the falsetto to deliver it, sadly.
I won't even try him. Imagine if I was trying.
He needs to work on the diaphragm, I think. And then be all right.
Maybe you could help me on my armpit sniff turn.
Listen, that is my most viewed video on TikTok. You can leave me and my business alone. Thank you very much.
That's it. I'm just gonna drink my. This isn't a paid video, but I thought I'd get the red stripe out with. That was what was on PSG's kit last night. A nice red stripe in the middle.
You've really thought about this, haven't you?
Do you want to start off with? Do you want to start then, Adam?
Yeah.
Your nonsense.
My nonsense. What sort of nonsense?
When you start, what do you want? Let's talk about Champions League. What do you want to do? You can have your little moment.
I'm not an expert in Champions League. I'll leave that.
No,
to
we
you
know.
two.
Yeah, we know that. But as another fan, what's your take on it all?
No. In jokes aside, I think.
No. Do your jokes. Go and get your jokes out of the way.
No. My jokes will come. But jokes aside, I think any other keeper that you played against last night, you're in that final. You make that final. I think Donnarumma is an absolute freak. Yeah. I mean, I watched videos today, again, just highlighting the amount of saves he made. So those shots. I mean, you've got the Martinelli chance where he's in the 6-yard box and he literally dives in.
Yep.
You've got there was another one. There was a Trossard chance that Donnarumma saved and flipped around the post. Then you've got the Odegaard strike, which was unbelievable save. Unbelievable reactions on that. That's just 3 in the first half. And then obviously you got Saka twice. You know, where he missed he called it in the top corner, which you see him do day in, day out, and he's tipped it wide. There was another one where Saka missed a sitter, but Donnarumma put the pressure on him to make him uncomfortable. You know, I thought Donnarumma man the match again, absolute baller. I think last night, and if you're playing against someone like that, you know, you can take as many shots on target as you like. I mean, there was a quote one of my mates said. He said, "You can pepper a steak as much as you want, but you know you're only getting salt on it." And that's effectively what Arsenal done. Like you sent a thing to me this morning, didn't you, Rob, about the XG?
Yeah, I was going to talk about
stat.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. Like the XG stat was what 5.1 for Arsenal, and what was it, 2 for PSG or something like that?
2.9, so basically 3.
Yeah,
and
so
they
it was
got
like,
their XG, didn't they? So
yes, any other goalkeeper. I mean, there was that fear where Donnarumma went down holding his groin, and I thought, he could go off here. This is game on. And when he stayed on, I thought, no, that's it. Like, there was no way he was going to beat him.
Yeah, I mean, look, I mean,
well, you did eventually, but
yeah. So
late then.
I stayed away from social media over. I mean, to be fair, I've been off X really for the last couple of weeks. I just haven't really been interested, and that's not because of anything other than just because life has been busy. But I purposely stayed off of it yesterday because I know exactly what's going to happen, and I just haven't got time for that kind of negative energy in my life. I've got to be honest. I personally think that Arteta coached the masterclass over those 2 games. That's a personal opinion. I know it won't be a consistent opinion. I know that people go, well, he should have done this then in January and blah, 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 blah. Everything aside, based on the resources that he had available, no party in the first leg, Mourinho up front, and whatever else, no Gabriel, no big Gabs, Kirior, who has really done himself a lot of favours in the last couple of months, if we're being honest with ourselves. And fair play to him, because he basically came in cold to that team and had to then do a masterclass against Real Madrid and play against PSG as well. I do think that Arteta coached I do think Arteta coached the right game, and you can't tell me that the stats don't show that. The stats show that Arsenal could have, should have, or had at least 5 goals across those 2 games, right? And PSG should have had 3. PSG achieved that 3. Arsenal didn't. And Arsenal had an XG of 5 without a striker. And so while I can already hear the argument Arsenal should have done such and such business in January. Actually, maybe they didn't need to, and maybe some people didn't quite step up when it really mattered. And Callum and I were going to have a chat about Odegaard, so we'll do that in a bit, Cal. But I do think that actually, I think Arsenal should have won. And I'm willing to die on that sword. Cal, did you want to say, mate?
I mean, first off, as I know Rob's addressed, I have looked at some of the stuff. I don't go on X, to be fair, but on Instagram and some of the some of the hate we are getting from other fan bases is actually quite bannerous, to be fair. Like, I didn't realise that we live so rent free in other fans' heads, or is it just the fact they can make money or get views of saying stuff about Arsenal? Because some of the stuff is like, wow. But again, I think, I said to I work in a school, and I said to a lot of kids that I spoke to today, I said, listen, you're all saying this and that, and Arsenal this and Arsenal that, and you blew it again, and all this malarkey. Not even. How long's Arteta been? 5 years. 5 years now. Has he been in 5 years?
Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, not even 3 years. If we were sitting here 3 years ago saying we beat Real Madrid and we're in the semi-finals of the Champions League, yeah, we would have bit someone's hand off to do that. Bit their hand off. 5 years ago, if you would have said we even qualified for Champions League, yeah, we would have gone. We would have been laughed at. For us to actually go into a semi-final, first leg, yeah, as favourites because of beating Real Madrid as convincingly as we did without a striker, even though I think Mourinho, because lots of people now talk about Watkins. I used to bought Watkins in the January sale. He can't get into market, so he can't get into Aston Villa's team. Where you got Mourinho who's come in, he scored 6 goals in whatever it is. He probably would have scored more goals. He's probably scored more goals than Watkins would have done if he come to Arsenal. I just think Arsenal are in the right direction. I do think we possibly could be going into a new transition with certain people going out, and I know me and Rob are going to talk about that later. But if you just talk about the game, both games we took it to Paris Saint-Germain, the same as that we took it to Real Madrid, where historically in Champions Leagues under Arsene Wenger, we've always been on the back foot we've always been looked to be that team to sort of try and
Counter-attack.
nick a goal. Yeah, counter-attack, nick a goal. Where I'm not being funny. If I still think if we would have scored in that first 5 minutes, we'd be in the final now. And as Adam said, and he's pointed out all the saves and what's occurred, and he made some fantastic saves. But sometimes it's, as you just sort of said, it's about moments, and maybe it's Paris Saint's moment. And that we are still building. But I thought we played well across both games, but they were clinical. They took their goals. And certain things just didn't. We didn't get the rub of the green. I think long term it is now about, because I did say I think this season, and Rob disagrees with me at the beginning, is that this season was a season where we had to win stuff, or win something. But I do think there's going to be a massive overhaul, and I think you're going to see some big names go, and surprisingly big names. And I think, Rob mentioned Odegaard, and he hasn't had a great season. He definitely hasn't had a great couple months. And can I just say, I don't want him to go. This is not me saying that he wants to go, but Rob mentioned it yesterday when we were watching the game. You talk about outgrowing players. Is he a player that possibly we've outgrown, where he doesn't create enough, he doesn't score enough as an attacking midfielder?
I've had some time to reflect on that, and I actually
he's bottled it.
No, I have bottled it. I regret saying it now. I think I was in the moment. I was having a bad day, and I had to get my car fixed. So Odegaard was the scapegoat yesterday. But in hindsight, Odegaard lost the ball a couple of times yesterday. But actually, Odegaard didn't really do anything that directly cost us. He didn't do anything bad. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, Saka and this is going to look like I'm being really hypercritical or maybe a little bit unfair, but Saka missed a sitter. Regardless of whether you think the goalkeeper put him off, he missed a sitter. And if people like me who are going to put Saka in the world-class bracket, world-class players score important goals, even if they're not world-class goals. Not every goal you score is a world-class goal, but you score goals. And I think Saka missed an opportunity there to keep the tie alive, but also to cement his stature as one of the most important players in world football right now. He
still scored though.
No, he did still score, but I'm just trying to make a point that Ronaldo would have had 3 goals yesterday. Yeah. So I think there's that. Then I think Nelly was pocketed really in the second game there. He couldn't really impact. Had to bring on Trossard.
We've mentioned that about Martinelli quite a lot, haven't we? Is he actually good enough?
But this is the pitch I'm trying to build on. Why I think I was probably unfair on Odegaard. Saliba tried his very best to mess up. I mean, I know that he pulled a blinder of a block later on in the game, but he still tried his very best to make some poor choices. Yeah, like very very close to the goalkeeper. And
that says how well Kyrgios did as well.
Yeah,
actually Kyrgios looked the most secure at the back
because he actually set Kyrgios up at one point to really. I mean, he puts Kyrgios between a rock and a hard place. Saliba. The point I'm trying to make is that you could say I'm probably being hard on Saka, Nelly, and Saliba as well, but I think there is and I think this is an Arsenal fan base issue as well, where we've got like Starboy on a pedestal. Saliba we adore, but actually, and Odegaard is Odegaard is like an easy target because he's not Declan Rice, and we all kind of want Declan Rice to be captain. So it's kind of like an easy out to be like, well, Odegaard's not doing enough. Actually, Odegaard's numbers aren't too bad. He's never been a prolific goal scorer. He's had a bad season in terms of goals this year.
And he's as well, wasn't he?
He has been, but he's also the type of player that doesn't get the last pass. He assists the assists. He's the guy that lays off the ball for the easy pass because he makes the hard pass first. And I think that collectively as a fan base, we're being a little bit harsh on him. Would I be surprised if he went? No, because Andrea Berta's come in and apparently, if rumors are, if we are to sort of follow the rumors that are going around with the in the nose, we could be looking at getting rid of both Trossard and Martinelli. So what the hell's going on there? Like this guy is.
I think Trossard's going, isn't he? He's rejected contracts and he's entering the last year as well, isn't he? So I think he's odds on going to go.
No, I think he will, but I also, but there's also rumblings about Martinelli as well because Andre Berta doesn't think he's good enough. And what I quite like about it is that Arteta's quite cutthroat as well. Look what he did with Ramsdale. If you don't like you, you're out. Yeah, apparently he has a bit of an issue with Trossard's attitude. Well, and then maybe we are going to get short of Trossard. But I also quite like the fact that Andrea Berta is not going to be a yes man, and that he will challenge the ups and he will challenge below. And he's had to deal with Diego Simeone. So I do think we could be in for an interesting window. But I've digressed. The main thing I wanted to really say there was I do think I made Odegaard a scapegoat yesterday. And I think it was in the moment and it was unfair because actually you could argue that there were other players on the pitch that probably could have done more and didn't. So
I think Miles Lewis Skelly had a tough night last night.
His immaturity, and by immaturity I mean just lack of experience, really showed yesterday. I do think the handball was laughable. I thought that was so harsh for the penalty. Great save for Raya. I don't think there was any attempt to try and play the ball. He was just in the area. I just think it was such a harsh penalty.
When the VAR looked at it, it was 100% handball, wasn't it? As harsh as it was probably the right decision, wasn't it?
No.
It's handball, guys.
No, do you know what that reminds me of?
It took a shot and it deflected it.
No, that reminds me of the first year of COVID where it would brush on someone's elbow and they'd be like penalty. No, I just can't.
We were meant to be coming away from that. That's what we were meant to be coming away.
Yeah, it's not intentional, is it? Like I look, I'm going to be completely honest. If I was an Arsenal fan, I'd be like, you take it. But I'm not going to be like, definite penalty. Like, if you get it, you take it and you shut up, don't you? But if you get that given against you, be absolutely fucking livid. And I was.
I'm not being funny, mate. The penalties that we had with Saliba got a penalty against him for trying to head the ball. It's just like I've said it before. I'm actually falling out of love with football, with Premier League football or VAR football because just the result. Some of the stuff is just ridiculous. Honestly, I'm getting to the point where I can't be bothered to watch games, or there's something will happen and I will just turn it off. Well, I'll go. I don't want to watch it no more.
Can I just jump in though, Cal? In fairness, I do think Arsenal have been, for the most part, very well refereed in the Champions League this year. I genuinely do think so. Other than maybe the first half of PSG.
First leg of the PSG was shocking, mate.
Yeah, but Cal, there's been a lot more games than just that one game, isn't there? Like, I think the first game against PSG, but I don't think the referee was great for PSG either last week. And then yesterday, I thought that penalty was shocking. And actually, because when in the pub, we thought Arsenal were getting a penalty because we thought Arsenal. So, like, I think.
Did you see that video of Arsenal Fan TV live stream? They were doing watch-along. And I think they were in Box Park or something like that. And everyone's going, and they're literally celebrating as if like England have got through to the final.
Yeah, you would be. You would be.
And then you just see that the whole atmosphere change when they find out, it's actually PSG that's going to get the penalty.
By the way, though, fair play to Ray because he's had some criticisms about his decision making, free kicks and penalties, and he waited. And you could see, I was watching because one of the criticisms that he had was he goes early, and I was watching Ray to see what he did, and he did not move, and that unsettled that player's run up so much that in the end it was dribbling. It rolled, didn't it? It didn't do anything, and it was an easy save in the end. And I just thought, do you know what? Fair play, mate, because that is the most tense situation you could possibly imagine to try and make a save. You're 2-0, 1-0 down at the time. That goes in. It's the end of the game. Because it would have been a sucker punch, especially because Arsenal thought they were getting a penalty themselves. Like the whole shebang. And I just thought, fair play to you, mate, because you've been dug out. And actually, other than the PSG goalkeeper, he's probably been the goalkeeper of the tournament. Those early games where he was putting out saves or diving back across the line like a cat. You know, like
he saved the most penalties as well, isn't he? David Raya?
Yeah.
But I think as he had some stitch for some of these Premier League performances, that's what I was sort of referring to. But
yeah,
I just think, yeah.
I mean, like I said at the beginning, 5 years ago, we wouldn't have even dreamed of getting to a semi-final against PSG or against anyone in the Champions League. Do you know what I mean? And I know lots of people going, "Oh, no, second place again, or you blew it again, or whatever." But ultimately, all the empty fan bases that are doing that want to be us. Do you know what I mean? I still think we're on the up. I do think there's certain players that need to go that we've potentially outgrown. You know, Jesus is one, Zinchenko's one. You know, Martinelli, unfortunately, I hate to say it because I think, you know, he is a fantastic player, but he hasn't pushed on like Saka has. And I know comparing him to Saka is probably harsh as well.
I think you're right to say it though, because look, if Arsenal were playing Semenyo at left wing this year from Bournemouth, he's had a better season.
Yeah.
In a very good side, but a side that is not as good as Arsenal. You know, Mbumo as another example, incredible footballer, and he's doing it at Brentford. And Brentford are also a good side, but they're not Arsenal. You know, I just think that I think sadly, and I'm not a big fan of Arsenal going out and buying Williams. Like that is not where I am. Like I'm not thinking that's where we should be going. I think Arsenal should be doing what Man United were doing in the mid-90s and going, that guy's a banger and he plays in the Premier League. We should be buying Semenyo. We should
Andy
be buying
Cole, Dwight York, Teddy Sheringham.
We should be buying Cliver, or we should be buying Morgan Gibbs-White. Like I know they're not wingers, but I'm just making points, right? Like
Morgan Gibbs-White would be an excellent player for you. Morgan Gibbs-White,
wouldn't he?
It's just insane. It's just
he's one of the players that if Arsenal sold Odegaard, right? He's one of the players I'd be like, get him in. Like
you know, would be a good signing for you. And like going to Aston Villa. Not saying Ollie Watkins, Morgan Rogers.
Oh my god, yes,
Morgan Rogers. And Aston Villa need to sell by the end of June.
They can't.
Sorry, Rob, you broke up there, mate.
I mean, I can't see Odegaard going. You know, they're talking about, you know, I've heard rumours that Saliba has said that, you know, potentially he wants to leave the club because he wants to win stuff. He hasn't been,
Sorry, I don't
you know, for someone to come out with that comment, if he has come out with that comment, obviously it's only rumours, but he hasn't been good enough. He's made some big mistakes in the last few weeks. And Saliba, I was just saying about this apparent comment that he said that.
I think his head's gone. If someone up Real Madrid want him and they've made an interest in him, Spurs have just gone 1-0 up. Dominic Solanke. That's them then. That's them in the final. And for another year.
No, they won't. He'll get a sack. God forbid they'll win it and he'll get the sack. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. But, yeah, I think... I just think...
Listen, Saliba, if he's come out with that comment, like I just said, that he wants to, you know, he potentially wants to leave because he wants to win things. At the day, he hasn't been good enough to be able to go to, you know, the last few weeks to be able to. So, but if you're going to make comments like that, and if he has, like I say, they are all rumours, then you need to be pinpoint. You need to be making no mistakes. You need to be running the back line. And I'm sorry, like the last few games he hasn't, and he's looked really shaky in the Premier League. Look proper shaky, and you might say that because he hasn't got Gabriel next to him. But if you're talking about you're at that level of, you know, saying I want to leave, then you need to be running back forward no matter who you're with. I can't imagine Rio Ferdinand saying that back in the day, or John Terry or Tony Adams. Like, nah, they no matter who you put next to him, they're going to be doing the job, and he hasn't done that the last 3 or 4 games, in my opinion.
Captains as well, haven't you? You describe people who are like captain material. William Saliba doesn't strike me as someone who would.
Yeah, but if he's saying that I'm going to leave because we're not winning, I think then you need to be at that level.
But he may
You
well
don't
be
see
saying
Declan Rice saying that, do you? And he's
No.
captain material.
that. He may well be saying that, but he is probably, alongside Saka, our most expensive asset. Like, if we were going to sell someone, he would be one of the most expensive players we could sell. Yes, he is.
Yeah, he would be, but I wouldn't say he's up there with. I would say it was Saka, Rice. You know,
They are our three most expensive players. If we were selling, they would be the three players we'd make the most money off. Although you have to look at the likes of Skelly coming through and potentially Neri in a couple of years as well. But those three right now are our most expensive assets. But the irony is, Cal, and I'm not going to say any more bad words about Saliba because I don't want to be like an ungrateful fan.
No. Listen, I'm not trying to say that. I'm
No,
not
but what I mean
ungrateful.
is-
He's world class. In my opinion, he's world class. But if you're making them comments, you need to be squeaky clean.
I also think that I've always said I think he's here for a fun time, not a long time. But I do think that actually Gabriel has shown how important he is this year as well. And by missing him, it shows that as well. And you know, when Big Gabs went down injured, I was just absolutely, that was crushing. That really was, because you know he's also one of our biggest goal threats from set pieces.
Do you know what else is a worry, Rob? Sorry, just talking about worries. Partey.
Yeah,
like we obviously missed him definitely the first leg. But how old is Partey now?
he's in his. I think he's 31, 2.
So what worries me is I know you're gonna. I think Skelly could possibly do a job in there, but
Cal,
have we got?
Cal, I don't think he could do a job in there. I think he could be the future there. I think he is strong. He doesn't get.
When do you think they make that move?
No, I think they're going to buy Zubimendi, and hopefully that works out. But I genuinely think that Skelly could be the man. And then you put Calafiori in at left back, and then they interchange, don't they? Or Timber, or you know, Ben White's going to come back into the team. Timber would go left back. But I genuinely think Skelly could be the man. You know, can you imagine him interchanging with Rice, who can both, and they can both go forwards and they can both track back. But also then you've got an England midfield as well. Like, I just think it's gorgeous. You know, I really do. I don't think Arsenal will go that way. But, you know, if you look at that first game against PSG, where basically Skelly ran through the middle and laid off a ball to Martinelli, and the only reason we didn't score was because bloody goalkeeper was incredible. He basically scored the same goal against Madrid, and Coutinho couldn't get close to it. And yet, you know, this guy gets right on top of it. So, Donnarumma, that's right. But yeah, I do think Skelly could do the job there. I do. But
how important do you think next year is going to be, Rob?
I think Arsenal. I hope so anyway. But I think Arsenal are going to have an absolutely worldy of a transfer window. I think Andrea Berta, they basically said to him, "You've got this amount of money," and he's like, "Okay, and player sales. So, like, I think this guy is going to. I think he's, you know, I think why would you take the job unless you're not going to be allowed to spend money? And I just think that Andrea Berta has got a track record. He's got a track record of some duds as well, by the way. But he also signed 2 strikers in his time at Atletico, and the following season, there was 2 examples of strikers that he signed while he was at Atletico, and the following season signed David Villa, I think, in 2012-13. Following season, they won their first league title in however many years. Signed a retiring Suarez from Barcelona a couple of years back. Won the Liga the following season. So he has a knack for picking up strikers, and then teams, and then the team winning the league. And so I think that, you know, you've got to believe that the window is coming, that this is going to be a big window, because otherwise, why would you sign Andrea Berta? You might as well just kept the other guy who was doing the job on the the apprenticeship. I can't remember his name, but the guy who took over from Edu as like an apprentice for the role, because they thought he might be decent at it. Might as well just stuck with him. Why would you get Berta? So, yeah.
2-0 Spurs, by the way.
Okay. Well,
I don't care. Oh, mate.
Yeah, that was one of the questions I got sent earlier. It was
What's that?
if if Spurs or Man United win the Europa League and
Yeah.
finish 15th or 16th, would they have had a better season than Arsenal?
They'd have more trophies. But I don't think. Do you know what? They'd have more trophies, and then that will allow the debate. But I would not want to be either of those clubs right now.
Nah, not in the position
And
they are.
so, trophies are what you're measured by, and it's going to be very noisy. I actually text one of my friends who was sort of giving me some lip yesterday. And I said, listen, mate, just make sure that you beat Spurs in the final because otherwise it's going to be a fucking nightmare. And I don't want Spurs to ever win anything. I don't want to win anything ever. But that obvious loyalty to Arsenal aside, right? Forget whether it's Tottenham that I dislike strongly. Man United or Tottenham could win a trophy, and that would be annoying. But I would not want to be either of those clubs. Like if I was Bruno Fernandes, I'd be like, "Get me out of here, mate. I've got about two or three good seasons left in me. Get me out of here because I deserve to win a Premier League title." If you're Man City, I don't know if Bruno Fernandes has got a buyout clause, right? But can you imagine him taking over from KDB? Could you imagine Bruno in that Liverpool team? Mate, could you imagine him in Arsenal over Odegaard doing some of the things that he does? Like, if I was Bruno Fernandes, I'd be like, just get me out of this club. It's an absolute nightmare.
Yeah, it's never happening, is it?
I think he's one of the most incredible footballers, and he has had. I just feel so. I actually feel sorry for him now because I just think like he's so good, and I mean I know he has got an FA Cup and is it 2 FA Cups he's got, or a Carabao Cup. Like he has won trophies, but he's so good, and he has been so good this year, even with everything, the club, all of the structures of the club, the pundits. That guy's a baller. He is an incredible baller.
Do you know what's really sad for him is that he's been their best player, and he won't even go down as like a legend because he ain't done nothing. Like he hasn't won like a major trophy, where he's been their best player for 3 or 4 years, and he's just going to be like.
He's won a couple of FA Cups, hasn't he?
Yeah, but it's not like
and the Carabao Cup.
Yeah, but listen, when we win FA Cups in the banter years, they were saying FA Cups not even a trophy worth winning, and all of a sudden, Man United win a few.
Europa League as well. Was he there when Mourinho was there?
Nah.
I don't think he was. I think he was a Solskjaer signing. Not sure.
I don't
know.
But
he has been their best player post Ferguson.
Oh yeah.
I think, off the top of my head, I think he has been their best player post Ferguson. I can't think of a better player
that they've had. No,
I can't think of one.
Zlatan Ibrahimovic, was he there?
Yeah, he was, but he's not.
Pogba.
He has.
Pogba.
Yeah, but he hasn't. Yeah, but
Pogba, nah, he didn't do it at Man United. He didn't do it at Man United. Abroad,
he won Europa League, didn't he?
They had Ronaldo as well.
Europa League's a Mickey Mouse league, mate. It is a Mickey Mouse league.
I think
it's the Mickey Mouse league compared to the Champions League. No one gives a shit about Europa League.
Tottenham
There
fans.
you go. So Bruno Fernandes has won 1 FA Cup and 1 EFL Cup.
That's it. So he's won the Carabao Cup.
So he's only won trophies under Ten Hag.
Yeah. But I think he deserves more. I've got to be honest, mate. I really do.
Yeah, I do.
I think he's an incredible footballer.
Would you take him at Arsenal?
Yeah, I would. 100%.
If Man United win Europa League and they have Champions League football next season, then would it be considered a sideways move in terms of the level of football he'd be playing?
I mean, he's not coming to
tier
Arsenal,
wise,
but like he makes most 11s better. Like, I think he even makes Man City's 11 better right now. I think he'd get into Liverpool's team too. I do. And I'm not saying that to try and. I'm not saying that because I'm trying to like piss on Liverpool. I'm not. You put Luis Diaz up front, or put Cody Gakpo up front, or someone like that, and then you put in Fernandes behind with Salah, or even if you do is like a 3 and a 3, he could sort of be the pushing in the midfield trio, couldn't he? Because he can play all over the midfield. Like I think he makes Liverpool's team better as well. I think he'd cook at Liverpool as well. I think
that'd never happen. One player that could could go from Man City to Manchester for Liverpool is Kevin De Bruyne has come out today. They reckon they're going to offer him a 2-year deal.
Yeah, I saw that.
Who?
I don't
Kevin
think
De Bruyne.
I can't see it.
Who's going to offer him?
Liverpool. They've done it before. James Milner, what a servant he was.
Oh, could you imagine it?
I can't see it.
I can't see it. He's going Saudi or America.
He's come out and said his family are all Liverpool fans today.
That would be cinema, wouldn't it?
That would be fantastic.
And the thing is that Liverpool look after their older players. Look at James Milner. That guy's still...
Henderson, another one.
Yeah. And Henderson, yeah.
Van Dijk.
Wow. I'd be shocked if that happened, though.
I think it would happen, but it would be cool. So, let's just see.
That'd be a statement signing. Despite how old he is, I think he's 32 now, is he? I think he's still got... If he's going to somewhere like Liverpool, it would offer a hell of a lot, even for 2 or 3 years.
This is where Liverpool do gripe me, though, right? Is they love releasing their books and saying, "Oh yeah, we don't spend that much money on players." Their wage bill is monstrous. They have so like there's this thing. I mean, Arsenal haven't really outspent anyone in the last year because they didn't buy anyone really. But a couple of years back, there was this whole thing about Arsenal spent monstrous amount of money and blah 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 blah, and Liverpool have only spent this, net this, and whatever. Their wage bill is a cataclysm. It's huge, their wage bill. If they signed Kevin De Bruyne on free, they'd be paying like 20 million in like fees that doesn't exist in wages. Like it's just obscene.
You should see their boots account with all the Asper pumps they've been buying as well.
I don't know.
Elite footballers all got blue inhalers.
Yeah, I've got a blue inhaler. It's very, very useful.
I mean, I think. I mean, can you imagine the Google advert? If you went,
you're just changing his top to red.
Yeah, can you imagine it?
Right. Man City fans would never recover from that.
Nah.
I think he's had his time though at Man City, isn't he? I mean, he's won everything he could possibly win at Man City.
It just doesn't make. I mean, I get it. It's still the Premier League, but
Do you don't think he'd go to Spain?
No.
Barcelona, because they've got no money. Would they take him and pay it on his wage instead of buying him?
He might not want to go though.
No,
mate, it's that shirt, though, isn't it?
If he's got his family in and around Manchester, I mean, it's an easy move, isn't it? Logistically, you have to uproot a young family. I don't know if he's got kids, but you'd have to uproot a young family. Like, why would you do it if you can get paid 300 grand a week just to go down the road and be a sub? Because he's not going to start every game. By the way, I do think he would do a great job at Man City, and him and Salah would. Do you know what? That's like, what do you call it on FIFA? Dream team stuff, isn't it?
Fantasy football, isn't it?
It's fantasy. That is proper fantasy football stuff, and it would be an incredible. And you know, his wages would be high, but the money they would make from marketing of that, it's almost a win-win. Kevin
Do
De
you
Bruyne,
think Man City will go for Palmer. Go back for Palmer.
Could do,
No,
couldn't they?
apparently I heard he would be open to a move to Man United, though. We've gone off track.
He's a Man
now.
United fan, though, isn't he? He's a Man
Yeah.
United fan.
Imagine him and Bruno. Woohoo!
I think there's already rumblings that Chelsea are looking to sell for a profit anyway, aren't they? Because they
That's
paid
why you sign him on a
40
10-year
million for him.
deal.
You get him for, I mean, you could sell him easy for 60, couldn't you?
I think you get more than 60 for
And the
him.
rest, yeah.
Maybe, but Man United can't afford that this summer.
No.
That-
Well,
Unless
if they
they
get
get
Champions
Champions League
League,
football.
if they get Champions League, yeah, they might.
no, but I'm talking about, I think their books are pretty tight, if I remember rightly. Like, I don't know if they can just be like, oh, yeah, we'll spend another 8 million. And then that's basically Amarin's budget blown, isn't it? Unless they sell, like, Mainu and people like that.
Won't look good with it, especially if they've made a lot of people redundant to cut the cost down, and then they go and spend 80 million on one player.
I don't think they care about that, mate. I don't think they care. So I wouldn't worry.
Yeah.
I don't even know if that's a topic for discussion because they don't care. So I think that it wouldn't surprise me. I think it's going to be. I think it's probably feeling like a kick in the teeth right now that Rashford's injured, because they probably would have been able to sell to him quite healthily for his performances at Aston Villa, unless Aston Villa decide to make that permanent. I think Mainu's a potential money outlet, but when you look at the squad, there's not many where you think, oh yeah, we'll give you 50 million for them. Like, who are you spending 50 million in that squad? They want to try and recoup the money for Rasmus Højlund. He's been woeful. And
I like Højlund. I don't met West Ham. Højlund.
I'm not disputing that he can play football, but they have not done a good job of putting him in the window, have they? They're not going to be able to be like, oh yeah, he's 60 million. Bore off, mate.
And Nacho,
almost went to Saudi Arabia for less than that, and he's better.
Garnacho, he almost went to Napoli or something in January.
Yeah, I reckon that could probably still happen. But there are a few. But there's not many where they're going to make loads of money, and I think they do need to make. I think it's going to be like a player sell issue for them.
How much do you reckon Arsenal going to pay for Harry Kane?
I think Harry Kane's buyout is 50 or 60, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that's only applicable to Spurs, though, isn't it? If they get Champions League football. It's what I've led to believe. So then, if they get Champions League football while winning Europa League, then they could activate getting Harry Kane back.
Yeah. You do realise
after he's won his trophy as well. After he's won his trophy as well.
He is coming to Arsenal, yeah.
It'd be good to see, because I would have seen him smash Shearer's record.
What's that bloke's name? Barara? What's his name?
Barella.
Barella. Whatever he is, our sporting director, whatever his name is.
The Inter Milan player.
No, but
yeah.
What, mate? Watch his space. I'm telling you.
He's the type of that because he likes an aging striker. He did the same with Villa and he did the same with Suarez. He does like an aging striker. And the only thing that, I don't think it will happen, but the main reason why I don't think it will happen is because I don't know if Kane can press anymore. And Arteta likes to press him forward.
Yeah, but it just changed the formation.
I reckon Morata. I reckon Alvaro Morata.
What, we'll go for Morata?
Probably, because you've got the Atletico Madrid link, haven't you?
Please don't say that to me, mate. Don't upset me.
No, I like Morata.
He's well old.
Is it Galatasaray at the minute? I think.
I don't want that. No, I don't.
He's too old.
It's not that he's too old. I just don't want Alvaro. I don't want another ex-Chelsea.
It's the whole Spanish connection, isn't it? It's Atletico Madrid as well.
I don't want another Chelsea player.
Nah.
I think he's good. He's a good player.
Yeah, I have him at West Ham then.
I wanted him at West Ham.
How much budget do you reckon we've got?
Well, I think. Well, I don't know whether the new PSR rules come into play, because I think you can spend up to something like 75% of your. Is it 80% of your commercial revenue? And I think your revenue is something like 360 million £, or something. So you can actually spend 280 million £, if my maths is good.
I was about to say about 250 million quid we could probably spend.
Yeah, 280 million £, you could probably spend. But like I said, I don't see Andrea Berta coming if he can't spend money. So
you've
also got 120 million £, coming from Champions League prize money as well.
I know. Crazy. So could be a good.
Maybe take a leaf out of Inter Milan's book. I mean, I think their average squad age was something like 33.
I do agree with you there. Actually, I do think maybe there is some space for some more experienced players, and experienced players have been good for Arsenal in the past. Trossard, older player, good. Jorginho, Partey. Those
Jorginho was a great signing.
But it wasn't, and even Sterling, right? And I do think Sterling deserves some flowers, right? On the pitch, he can't contribute at that level anymore, and I think that's really sad for football because peak Sterling was a wonderful footballer to watch.
He's only 28.
No, he's not.
Sterling?
No.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He's older than that.
He's 28. He's 28.
No, he must be older.
Google him now. He's going to Google it quicker. I think I want to say he's 30.
He's 30 years old.
So he's not old, is he? Talk about Harry Kane, he's 31.
But wingers like that can fall off, right? Like when Perez fell off as a winger, they pushed him into the centre. You can't do that with Sterling. But that aside, Sterling has been apparently mentoring Nuneri, Skelly, those players, and
even Saka.
Yeah, and apparently he's been really good for them. I can't remember what my main point was now because we were talking about his age, but older players having an influence. So he's been mentoring those players, and in the same way, who was it who absolutely adored David Luiz? I think it was Saka was like, I love David Luiz. He really looked after me when I came into the team. Even David Luiz, I know it's not really. I mean, I think he was managed by Arteta, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
Even players like that, Arsenal have used older players well, but they went with a really young model. So I do think there's space for some more experienced players, maybe on a swan song. So the likes of like a Morata, like a Morata or a Kane or a Kevin De Bruyne. I know that Kevin De Bruyne is not going to come, but someone like that maybe who could come on a free, maybe slightly expensive wages, but not too much of a piss take. Because you don't want to be like Saka and then you got Kevin De Bruyne walking in on 350 grand a week and you're like, where's he been? He's the reason we didn't win trophies, So,
let's have a look at. You keep talking. Let's have a look at the contracts expiring in terms of who fits that bill. Leroy Sané.
There's always rumblings about Leroy Sané, but the only thing I would say about that is he would be the only reason why I like it, right, is because he's cover for Saka. We're going to be in a lot of competitions. There's more games than ever. He's cover for Saka. He's proven, and because he's Prem proven, by the way, Man City.
Yeah.
But also, it just means that we can stop the Nuneri project and we can push him back where he should be, which is competing with Odegaard. He is not a winger. Bless him, he's tried, but it hasn't worked. He's a winger. He's a 10. Sometimes projects work, right? Skelly at left back worked, right? I still think he could do a party. Saka at left back worked, but look at what he did when he became a right winger. I think that sometimes you can take that gamble. I do not think that is Nuneri's game, and he needs to come back in. So I do think the Leroy Sané one makes sense. Actually, it just depends on whether his wages are a piss take.
There's two players here that have got contracts expiring over the next couple of months.
Are they Premier League?
Lionel Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo.
Okay, neither of those are coming to Arsenal, mate. Neither of them.
Messi said if he went to any English club, it would be Arsenal.
Well, that's because he's not
to Arsenal, mate.
That's because he's not stupid. We can't afford his wages, and he will definitely renew with David Beckham's LA Galaxy. Is it LA Galaxy? Is that where he has?
Yeah. No,
I think he's
into Miami.
Yeah,
oh, that's it. Yeah, sorry. That's what I meant. Yeah.
I think there's been talk with Messi that he wants to go back to Newell's old boys, isn't it? That's where he wants to go back to. I mean, I've seen some highlights of him playing in the MLS, and they're saying that you should retire from the game before the game retires you. But I think like it's a bit of a clickbait sort of video. But I think he's still got it. Like I'd love to see Messi playing in the Premier League, even if it's for one
Mate, he
season.
didn't come to the Premier League in his private. He's not going to come to the Premier League when he's on his way out. No chance.
And I can't
Imagine
see.
if he came to the Premier League and then won it with like an Arsenal.
Yeah, it'd be amazing for his story, but it ain't going to happen.
No, and also I don't
Messi.
see Ronaldo. I don't see leaving the Pro League either. I don't. He's the poster
No,
boy
he's
for it.
Saudi Arabian football. Yeah, I think he ain't going nowhere. He ain't going nowhere.
Also, he's too old.
Yeah. Shall we talk about the
Hey,
games this week for West Ham?
Yeah, can do. Well, yeah. The other tagline was
Beach now, aren't we?
the other tagline of tonight's video. Obviously, you had Arsenal going out in the Champions League, but obviously Potter bore. So West Ham played Spurs on Sunday, and it was probably the worst London derby between those two teams we've ever witnessed from both sets of fans. I think Spurs went in there very reserved, obviously with tonight's game in mind against Bodo Glimt, which I believe they've won now, and they're going into Europa League final. And then West Ham really didn't go to the stops of trying to take advantage of a poor, well, not a poor, but an underutilised Spurs team. Frustrating. Mistakes again. I think Max Kilman made a mistake again. He's coming under a lot of criticism so far. I think even Graham Potter has come out, but even Graham Potter has said behind closed doors that he's not a fan of Kilman and he wants to replace him. Yeah,
40 million you spent on him.
40 million. That's a Lopetegui signing, though, isn't it?
Yeah, no, I know. But it just means all those guys take out of Potter's budget, didn't they?
Yeah, that's it. So if Potter can probably get 20 million back for him, I think he probably used that and utilise it better, and buy younger talent. He could get Trossard, couldn't he? Yeah, he could do, couldn't he?
He wouldn't cost him 20 million. I think you could probably get him for about 12 million.
But why would Trossard go to West Ham? If you're
Right.
not
It's Potter link, isn't it? Because of the Brighton.
Yeah, why is he going to want to go to West Ham?
Because he's worked with Potter, he'll probably get a starting role in the team. He's better than what's there. He might even be a striker there.
How much is Trossard on wages wise?
I don't think he's a high earner. He'd probably get a pay rise.
Yeah,
he's got to be 90 grand.
Yeah, but Danny Ings is 130.
Yeah. That's the thing, there'll be flexibility there because Ings will go. So if James Ward-Prowse is on 115 grand a week and Trossard's at Arsenal for 90, then he could easily get 120 at West Ham. Yeah, if we bought him, and I think it'd be a good sign.
Because that's what I was going to ask you. Actually, I have been wanting to ask you this. Do you think there will come a point where Bowen's like, I've had enough of this?
I don't think he's got an option, mate. He's got a 7-year deal.
I know.
Players can go. That's all rubbish. Players can go. I don't want to be here, and put a transfer request. Doesn't matter if you're 7 years or not. Yeah, you know that better than anyone else.
I think.
How old?
28. He's 28.
If he wants to win something, If he wants to win something,
he has won something.
Yeah. No. But what I'm saying is, what was it? Yeah, it's like the conference. What did you win? What did you win?
Europa Conference.
Ask Declan Rice.
This is what I'm saying. It's not even the Mickey Mouse Cup. It's the Bronze Cup, right? If he actually seriously wants to win something, he's got to look now. Next season.
Yeah, this is probably his last chance, isn't it?
I'm not. Adam, I'm sorry. I'm really not trying to play down.
No. It's fine.
The way I look at it, if Arsenal won, and can I just say, I want to win any cup. Yeah, and I know I say about the Europa League as well. don't get me wrong. I would love to win Europa League. I'd love to win the Conference League. I'd love to win the EFL Cup. Yeah, which is all considered Mickey Mouse cups or little cups or where by big players and all this crap. Right, a cup's a cup, and you've won a cup in the last 2 years. Arsenal haven't. Fair play to you, and I'm not trying to mug you off or mug what you've done off. Yeah, but if Arsenal won the Conference Cup, they would be like, well, it's a crap cup. No disrespect, and that's what I'm trying to say in the sense of Bowen is a big player, and I know he's a massive player for you, and the same as Harry Kane leaving Tottenham to go and win something. Rob makes a great point. He's at the point where he needs to make a decision if he is good enough to go and do it for a big team and win a cup. And is he going to do that at West Ham?
I think there's also the element of, is he, and I'm not suggesting that that's what he has to do, because Alan Shearer was completely happy playing for the club that he loved, and so there is an element of respect.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Shearer. I do have that respect for Alan Shearer because actually,
Noble,
Noble, yeah.
This is the point I want to make. Like, if Arsenal, I'd want to play for Arsenal regardless. I'm an Arsenal fan, right? So I would want to play for Arsenal Football Club. So if I was playing for Arsenal Football Club, I would like to think that it wouldn't matter if Man United came in for me. But at the same time, there's the kind of the goal. The goal for
the Van Persie thing, isn't it?
Of money, like there's a lot there, isn't there, that can kind of.
It's a Van Persie thing.
Decision.
Van Persie.
Yeah,
going to Man United. Listen, we all hated him for doing it at the time, but sometimes you've got to look at yourself and go, well, at the end of the day, he's still got a Premier League trophy in the back of his shelf. That generation of Arsenal players, and unfortunately still continuing, haven't. Isn't it? Like, sometimes you've got to be selfish. Arsenal fans hate him for it, but actually, for him personally, he made the right decision. He went and won a trophy.
What do you think, Ed?
I don't know. Whatever it happens, it's going to come at a fee, and I can't see many teams wanting to pay north of £60 million for him.
Do you think that's what he's worth? How much do you think he's worth, Adam?
I think he's worth.
I think he's worth 60. I think he's worth 60. I think he's worth 60.
Who would he go to? Who would he go to?
The thing is that the teams that I think his personal preference, if West Ham says, well, okay, but Jared, you're going to be leaving, 60 million's the offer. I think Man United, personally, I think that because he's a Man United fan, but on the flip, with Man United, you're going to be in contention for trophies regardless. But the other team that's always mooted an interest in him has been Newcastle. And again, it's like with their sort of progression, and there's no guarantee that they'll be in contention for trophies, despite who their ownership are, despite the players that they get in. There's still restraint as to how much they can actually spend, and until Man City overrule the Premier League in their 116 charges this autumn, then it'll be a willy wangling contest, as we discussed with Kieran Maguire. Once that kind of barrier breaks down and it's a free for all for them to spend whatever they want, then that's the only time I can really see Newcastle challenging for the Premier League. But Man United have got the heritage and the history, and they do have the commercial backing to spend what they want within PSR to mount a challenge for the Premier League. The only reason they haven't done it this year is because they've chopped and changed managers. They've bought wrong players. They bought Anthony for 90 million. I think if they went and bought proper shrewd players, I think Man United would still be in contention for a Premier League.
But you said that he's had a resurgence
this year.
Yeah, but it is the Portuguese league, isn't it? I don't think it's quite comparable to this, really.
Amorim is one of the best coaches in European football, and he needed time, and I think he's getting time, and he could win Europa League, and he would have achieved top 4, top 5 football in Premier League of the equivalent of him winning Europa League. He knew exactly what he was doing and knew exactly what he was going to focus on in terms of getting that golden egg. That's Europa League.
I think you're probably right.
If they get Champions League football, I think it'll be a different ball game. I think you could bring them back into the mix of challenging for the title.
The thing is though, I think they really need to win it. Like they really need to.
They need to win it more than what Spurs do. Yeah,
I agree with you because they're Man United.
Yeah, that's it. They're serial winners. They've got a history of it.
Not so much.
I
think financially they need to win the Europa League. I think they need to be in the Champions League financially. Chelsea, Tottenham are one of the. Whether or not Spurs fans will like it or not, they are an incredibly well-run machine, right?
Yeah.
So financially, they're okay, and they could spend more than they do. Man United almost are the rich people who live beyond their means. You know what I mean? Like they're very wealthy, but they are almost too not affluent, but they're too
They've got to live his lifestyle to keep it up a persona. They've got to live his persona.
And I think they need the Champions League. They need to win the Europa League to be able to do that, because they get into the Champions League, they will be able to make the better signings than because if they don't, that player's available to them next season, even though the likes of Cunha might still want to go there.
Mm-hmm.
And if they sign Cunha, by the way, they're going to be dangerous next year.
If they just bought the players that used to play for Sporting Lisbon that are now in the Premier League, like you've got Matheus Cunha, you've got the who's the centre midfielder? Is it not Neves or João? Is it João Pedro or João Neves, whatever his name
João
is?
Neves, the one that's the one in the Saudi.
There's a Brazilian that plays for centre midfield for Wolves at the minute. I can't remember his name. Pedro, I think it's something like that. I think he could go there, and then you could look at other sort of Sporting Lisbon players that are coming. Like that's the sort of.
Is that where Fabio
Vieira is?
I can't remember. Where's Fabio Vieira this year?
It was Porto, wasn't he? Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But you look at that squad of what they're getting now at the minute. They bought that Ugarte. And Ugarte used to play for Sporting Lisbon before he went to PSG.
Mm.
They're starting to mould something there. And they've got Bruno Fernandes as well.
I think if they win the Europa League, they could be a real problem next year, Man United. I really do.
Yeah, I do as well. I kind of had that feeling earlier this summer because I thought that they could be a force to be reckoned with, but obviously things just didn't tick. They bought a lot of Dutch-based players and suited around Ten Hag's sort of philosophy, and they still had the signing issues from the previous season. I think I was a bit blasé about that prediction, but I would never write them off.
They've got a lot of dead
weight. Any situation.
They've got a lot of dead weight to go off, haven't they?
Yeah.
Shall we predict some scores? We're predicting scores.
Yeah, so as we're talking about Man United, West Ham have got Man United away on Sunday.
Segue.
Nice segue. See what I did there.
That's what I tried to do. You stole it off me.
With them also going into Europa League final, I think they will down tools as well. I think we'll probably just hit them at probably the wrong time because they've secured that spot. And I don't know when Europa League final is. It's in the next couple of weeks. So I think they will have a pretty fully strong squad to try and get themselves up the table a bit, but with fitness in mind for that final. So West Ham haven't scored more than 2 goals under Graham Potter this season. We look very lethargic, although we beat Man United earlier in the season 2-1, which was a bit of a fluke result, really. We got a penalty that should never have been a penalty, and then we scored a last minute winner from Somerville, which was okay. I think we'll get trounced. I think we'll get done 3-0 personally.
I also think you'll get trounced, but I do think you'll score, and I think it'll be 3-1.
I just can't see where the goals are coming from other than Bowen.
Well,
They
yeah.
keep Bowen quiet. Like
So who I think was
it's game
scored.
over.
Check was scored.
Yeah. Oh, nice segue. Congratulations to Thomas Salchek, who's become a father again for the third time today.
Congratulations, Thomas.
Little baby Daniel.
Oh, lovely.
Daniel
Great.
Suchek. One for the book.
Do you know what? That's got a footballer's ring to that, hasn't it?
Daniel Suchek.
Daniel Suchek. That could be.
Well, it's a bit weird because our Czech part owner is called Daniel Kretinsky, and it's a bit like, did he name him after the? It seems to be quite close. Or did he name him after the Czech Sphinx, who now owns the post office? So we're away.
Are you home or away?
You're away.
Home or away?
Old Trafford.
No, it's going to be a 3-0 drubbing. And I think that'll be. I think
2-0 Man United.
I think this game is probably the last chance for the senior players, or the last time you'll see a lot of senior players. I think this will be Paqueta's last game. He's caught here in his next week. The verdict as to whether he's proven innocent or guilty.
See that his wife on social media and said some bits.
Yeah. The thing is, the men. I support Paqueta during this because he does generally come across innocent, and it's just what has been happening in Brazil is he's just come a cropper of it because of who's involved. But if he is innocent, he's got all this pressure and mental abuse that he's suffered from the Football Association, and if he's found innocent, I hope he takes the FA to the cleaners. I really hope so.
Tarnish his career, haven't they?
Yeah. Also West Ham as well, because we've suffered for it because we've had a £50 million player who's not been playing at 100%. Yeah. He's used playing as an escapism, but still picking up bookings and stuff like that because his head's not in the game. And West Ham and Paqueta will go for the FA for a compensation, 100%. That's why the FA are shitting themselves in terms of trying to find significant evidence to find him guilty, and they haven't. That's the problem. But yeah, I think after this weekend, I think you'll get to see more youth players come in the next two games, remaining two games at Nottingham Forest and Ipswich, because I think Potter's had enough now. There's been rumblings of further fights and arguments happened in the training ground and in the changing rooms. Things like that should be left in the changing rooms, but it's obviously been leaked.
Who's fighting?
Well, it's the usual suspects. I mean, I don't know for certain who it is. I mean, I said usual suspects, but I don't know for certain who it is. But it doesn't take a brain scientist to realise that Edson Alvarez has been out with a back injury for the past 3 games. And then Potter says he's fit for the Tottenham game, and then doesn't even make the matchday squad. So I think you could probably look at that as a kind of sign to say he's probably an issue. I would sell him anyway. I don't think he's good enough for West Ham, personally. I think Caduce's obviously, he's had his head turned. He wants to leave. Fine, don't play him then. Play a youngster, play Luis Guilherme, in my opinion. And I think Todibo, I think although he said he wants to stay at West Ham, I think if a team like Juventus come crawling for £45 million, I think he's gone. I think there's a lot of egos in the vetting process in the transfers in general hasn't been good, and I think you'll see a massive clear out this summer at West Ham. So I hope after the Man United game we'll get to see more of the foundation as to what Potter wants to build in the summer.
Well, I do hope that they recoup some money to be able to do that, because I do worry that they spent with a manager in mind that they then didn't stick with. So
that's the problem. They didn't, because they only gave him a 2-year deal. No.
I know, and I know we're going back through. We've already discussed
archive discussions.
Yeah, but like I do hope that Potter just strikes me as a smart manager.
But the thing is with Potter sound like Harry Potter then. Malfoy. it's come to light that he's got an 18-month break clause in his contract. So if he enters the last 18 months of his contract, he can be released from his contract either by him getting another job without any compensation, or West Ham can release him without paying any compensation. And that happens after the end of next season.
No, that is not what West Ham fans want, is it?
Well, do we? Do we have Potter in for the next season to get these young players in? Then we get another manager in 2026.
It just seems all very short-minded, just short-term focused.
Is it short-term focus, or is it long-term focus for 2026? That's what I've always alluded to.
Who's coming in that's better than Potter?
Nagelsmann.
Oh, yeah, but come on.
World Cup ends that summer. Nagelsmann's contract expires in Germany.
Why is he
the
coming?
German national team? Because
Why is he
Daniel
going to come to West Ham?
wanted him. Because Daniel Kuczynski wants him.
You ain't getting him.
But who knows?
You might.
You ain't getting him.
That's the target, isn't it? That's the target.
And England did get Pep. And England did get what's his name? Pep. It ain't happening.
It might happen.
It ain't happening.
I think if you look at managers' contracts that are expiring in 2026, end of June 2026, that is who will be linked with West Ham. Guarantee it.
But you're holding on to this 2026. All I keep hearing about, the stadium's up. This is happening. This is just me. This is just me. That is my agenda. That is only me, because that is something that I've picked out from news feeds, from deals, sponsorships, marketing, commercial side, players' contracts ending, managers' contracts ending. It is, and I'm looking at myself. Like the Illuminati.
It is.
Or a big conspiracy, mate.
The West Ham conspiracy. Yeah, I'm starting it, and I'll wear it. But it makes sense. Like when you look at it, you think everything's teed up for that year. Because everything's
your Ouija board.
We should get Clinton Baptiste on there.
Let's not do that.
I'm getting the word.
I mean, listen. I can't see it. I don't see it. I think Potter's the best manager you can have at the minute. I don't think he is. If in my opinion, I don't think he is. I think recruitment. 3 months ago, you said you couldn't. You was buzzing.
I was buzzing, but knowing that he's got a break clause in the end of his contract, it makes me question the longevity of him being at West Ham. If it was a 3-year deal and said, right, you're here 3 years, that's it. But the fact that they've put a break clause in it makes me wonder whether he is the long term.
But who's put the break clause in? Him?
This is
West Ham?
All this says to me is Bowen should leave West Ham.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, and I'm not saying that even to be I'm not even saying that to try
when you sell Saka.
No. Hang on, let me finish. I'm not trying to fish, right? And don't say silly things, because that's not going to happen.
He might do. He might go Man City, wouldn't he?
No, he'd go abroad. He'd go Real Madrid. Yeah, that white shirt calls, doesn't it?
But I'm not even trying to say that to be controversial. If this is what you think, and you're not just a West Ham fan, but you're a West Ham fan, you're even in the circle. If that's what you're thinking, if I'm a player at West Ham, I'm like, and I'm Bowen, I'm the man. I'm like, this is ridiculous. This is like, do you know what? This is Bruno Fernandes at Man United. This is ridiculous. I need to go somewhere where it's well run, all right, and at least I know where I stand, right? Because I think it's, and do you know what, mate? It's 10 o'clock and I was ready for bed, and now you've rolled me with this. I just think, like, do you know what? I think Bowen should leave West Ham. I think he should leave West Ham.
The problem with West Ham is that there's this famous saying: proper planning prevents piss poor performance, and that is where West Ham have not done. Because if they've done their due diligence and got the manager in that they recruited, had for an interview, paid the compensation fee, gave him a long-term contract, and built with him.
Amorim.
we wouldn't have been in this situation, and that is because we've got a cheapskate owner who don't want to put his hand in his pocket to secure a long-term investment in the club because he's got an eye on selling it. So he's doing it on the cheap. He's budgeting for 11th every year, and we're stagnant. We're stagnant, and that's down to the ownership. You've got me on a GSB rant at the minute.
Yeah, right. I'm going to just give the Arsenal predictions.
I'm going to end it there. That's for another conversation.
Adam, you say that, but he's also the only chairman that's won you a cup in the last 30 years, 40 years, whatever it is.
Yeah, only with the manager he didn't want.
He still won a cup.
He didn't want David Moyes. Moyes, did he? He wanted Slaven Bilic to come in and replace him. He wanted who's the other fucking idiot? He didn't want David Moyes. David Gold was the one that wanted David Moyes. They got David Moyes in first. They got David Moyes in, and then to keep us up, they got rid of him, got Pellegrini in, and then he went, "Oh, I better eat some humble pie here," and then got David Moyes back because David Gold told him to do that. David Gold ain't here no more. David Gold was still alive. Moyes would have been given a new contract after that cup win, and we still have David Moyes now. And I would have rather have had that because I know where I stand as a West Ham fan. And at the minute, I don't. That's the frustrating bit, with or without Potter.
Yeah. Okay, it's 10:15. Let's not open that. Let's not open that can of worms. I'm just going to the Arsenal score. Arsenal need to win one of their last games. One to ensure it's one to win to ensure Champions League football.
Oh, sorry, to come second, I'm thinking.
All right, no, to come second. To be fair, it doesn't even matter to me if Arsenal come second now, as long as Arsenal can assure themselves Champions League football. We've got to play Liverpool away. I expect to lose that. We've got to play Newcastle. I think that's also away. No, that might be at home. That one. I expect to lose that. So I think that Arsenal is basically building a team for Southampton away to ensure themselves Champions League football. Look, I would love Arsenal to go to Liverpool to do it, and I feel like maybe Arsenal will be looking for that rebound because they didn't play badly against PSG. The statistics show it. PSG had a very good game also, and the best goalkeeper in the world currently. So Arsenal could absolutely go to Liverpool and win. And actually, Salah has been off form as far as Salah goes in the last month. And I know that's crazy to say because Salah's still been incredible. But as far as his numbers go over the last month, he has not been the Salah of January, right? Which is why I'm going to go for a 2-1 Liverpool win.
Is that who we got, Liverpool?
Yeah.
Yeah, mate. I think it'd be bigger than that. I think it's going to be 4-0.
No, I don't think they'll do that to us.
I think they will. I think we're going to have a massive drop-off. I think we'll have a massive drop-off from the Champions League because that was the be-all and end-all. That's all we were living for. Yeah. And I think now that's gone. It's almost like
though in donkeys. So I think Arsenal. That is a run. You say that we're going to have a drop-off. You're right, but that is a run that Arsenal would love to keep another year against the top 6 sides that we haven't lost a game. Right. So I do think you need to bear that in mind as well. There is still something to play for because there is that small smidgen, and also they've got to clap the bastards onto the field and give them a guard of honour and all that.
No, they've had that. They've done that. You don't have to do it every game. They had it at Chelsea. That's it. It's finished.
Do you know what, Cal? If I was Arteta, I'd make them bloody do it. But I think that.
Yeah, that know what winning's like, right?
Pardon?
Not a dig, but make them look like this is motivation. Like this could be you next year.
The most I ever learned, I never learned anything from winning. All right, I learned from when I wasn't good. Or when I lost, and so I would make them do it. But that's just me. But Arsenal still have something to play for in that game because they still have that run, an incredible run of not losing to a big 6 side in like the last 3 years. And if I was Arteta, I'd be like, look, do not be the team to lose. All right? Because people will know. So I think there is still that to play for, but unfortunately, I do think it will be too much at Anfield, and I think we'll lose.
That's a fantastic speech, and then you've just thrown it all away, going, "We're going to lose anyway."
No, I did say that. I did, yeah, but I started that by saying I think we'll lose. Would I be surprised if Arsenal won? Absolutely not. Liverpool are done for the year. I would not be surprised if Arsenal won. Pardon?
So are you?
No, we still need to qualify for the Champions League.
Oh, you'll qualify for that. You've got 99.9% chance of qualifying.
Doesn't
The
matter.
stats I saw.
And Arsenal are the team
Top
that loves
five.
them. Arsenal are a team that loves the 0.1%, mate. So let's not say that if anything could happen, it would be Arsenal that would bloody sucker punch it, wouldn't it? So this
You'll be very, very unlucky to not get Champions League football. You'll be very unlucky to finish anything lower than 3.
You're probably right. You're probably right, but we've still got
I
to
think
be.
Man City are on your tails, aren't they?
Yeah, but we still got to do it, mate.
We'll probably have 3 draws.
I wouldn't be surprised if we could go. I wouldn't be surprised if we beat Liverpool, because I think there is a team there that can do it. I think this team took Real Madrid to the limit. This team took PSG to the limit. But I do think Anfield's a big ask. Like I said, I think Arsenal have still got their little run to play for. I wouldn't be surprised if we beat them, but I think it'll be like a Salah show. I think Salah will wake up and it'll be 2-1.
Still got a silver medal to win, really, haven't you?
I'll take it.
Like just not the silverware that you had to win. But it's
still higher than West Ham's ever got in the last 30 years.
Cal, weren't even a dick.
No, that's what I bite. That's what I'll have you bite, Adam. Listen,
can I just say
it will still be higher than West Ham will get in the next 20 years.
That's all right. If you beat us with your
new German manager and your new stadium and your new chairman, yeah.
Listen, you'll win the league when you beat us at your gaff.
Can I also say that if Arsenal do finish second
with
this
Rice,
year, I think it would be a fantastic achievement. So I'm just saying that as well. But I'm tired.
I'll make my early predictions. I think you'll win the league next year. I think Man United and Liverpool will be your contenders.
Do you think? Maybe. I mean, I think Arsenal will be one of the best placed teams to do it because I think the infrastructure is already there, and I think money will be spent. What do you think the score will be this weekend, though?
Cal?
I
already said I think they'll blow us over.
I think 2-2. I'll go for a Desmond.
I'll take a Desmond. I'll take a Desmond right now. I just don't want to lose to them. I just don't want to lose to them, mate. I really don't want to lose to Liverpool. So, all right.
Is it 89 vibes?
No, it's not. No, it's not 89 vibes. I don't think the game is important enough to be 89 vibes. I think there was a lot more with. I mean, I don't know if you've ever read Fever Pitch or watched the film.
No.
The vibes are very different. It's not even close. It's not comparable. So yeah. But I will look forward to talking about this next week because we won't have to talk about Champions League or anything else. We'll just be able to talk about how bad the weekend's football was.
It'll be a very, very short transfer chat. But I suppose what we could do is revisit our predictions that we done in our first week. I think we was all near one way or another. I'll try and get the audio back and do clips, and then we can review on each of the predictions.
There's one prediction I made that I'm ashamed of. I made a prediction about Nottingham Forest, and I just wish I could.
Nottingham Forest get relegated. Mate, I said Man United to win the league.
I said that Nuno would be the first manager sacked. Right, let's finish there. All right.
No worries. Right, cheers, guys. Thanks everyone for watching. Please give us a like and subscribe. Comment on the video below if you've enjoyed it. If there's any comments we've missed out. Thanks again for watching, guys. See you soon and see you next week on Dad's Our Job.
Take care.